Hi, I'm Jen Draper, Certified Bank Trainer. In this video, I'm going to teach you my professional tips for making a fantastic sales presentation. First, I want to talk to you about clarity, connection, contribution, and compassion as things to consider while you prepare for a sales presentation. It's so important that you have strong clarity before walking in the door to start a sales presentation. Next, make sure your key message is clear in your head. If you aren't clear about your key message, how can you expect your customer to be clear about their buying decision? To help clarify your key message, ask yourself, what's the one thing you want your audience to walk away knowing after your presentation? Another element of clarity is ensuring that you will be talking to the decision maker. If you aren't talking to the people who will decide whether or not to buy your product or service, then you're wasting everybody's time. When you make your appointment, ask to make sure you are meeting with the person who can make the buying decision. If they need someone else to help make that buying decision, whether it's a business partner, a spouse, or another executive, then schedule the appointment when everyone can be there. The next thing to consider as you make your sales presentation is connection. This is just like a job interview. You need to do your research on the company and the people you'll be talking to. At the very least, spend time on Google, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter for some basic research. If you know someone in the company, reach out to them and ask some questions. Research the facts of the organization and the personalities of the people you would present to. Once you're in the room, your presentation should not be a one-way street where you are simply providing the information. It may be called a presentation, but you are not giving a lecture. A presentation should be a conversation. Ask lots of open-ended questions that can't be answered with a simple yes or no. Listen to how your audience responds to the questions. Don't formulate your response to their comments while they are talking. Questions can include asking for examples of their pain, asking them to tell you more about a topic, asking for feedback about what you're talking on, and asking them if this makes sense. When they raise objections, ask more questions to make sure you understand what's really behind that objection. This may surprise you, but sometimes people don't really understand the root of their problems. As you dialogue with your audience, you will start to get a feel for what the individuals of your audience value. What they value as an individual will help you decide what verbal and nonverbal communication style you should use. It's very important that you design your presentation to your prospect's values. This includes your communication style. Let me give you one of my favorite examples. Bob is a friend of mine. He's a salesperson for a software company. He was giving a pitch to the board of a hardware company. He had prepared a standard PowerPoint presentation on his own products and services. Fortunately, he started his appointment with a very simple card game that predicts buying behavior personality. The board members loved it. They passed the cards from person to person, trying to guess what each personality type the others would be. You would think that the board of an IT hardware company would be rule followers, or maybe action-oriented go-getters, or even technology-focused individuals. But as the cards went around, it became very apparent that the board members were all very relationship-focused. Bob quietly turned off his projector, he closed his laptop, and he made a very personal presentation. His approachable communication style sealed the deal for him, and that day he closed a deal worth $250,000. Work on thinking of your presentation as a two-phase event. The getting to know them phase should take up most of your time, with a short presentation phase at the end. This gives you more time to create a connection with your audience before you get to asking for the sale. While you are interacting with your audience, constantly take the temperature of the people in the room. Are they bored? Are they actively engaged in what you're saying? Are they frustrated? If they are anything but actively and positively engaged in your message, you need to rethink your communication style and ask some more questions. Once you've connected with your audience, it's time to make your pitch. Again, don't lecture. Ask questions to make sure they understand what you are saying and that they are still involved. Refer to things they've said throughout the meeting. At some point in your presentation, you need to talk about how your product or service is going to contribute to your audience. When you get to this point, focus on how you meet the challenges your audience has, not on your product's strengths. I'm sorry to tell you this, but people don't care about your product. They care about the pain that they are feeling because they have a challenge that is not being met. You might be wondering how compassion fits into a sales presentation. I want you to be prepared to meet the unexpected with compassion. One time I was scheduled to give a sales presentation to a very gregarious person. I did my research, I prepared my presentation, I focused on my key message, I had some questions ready to go. As I shook his hand, it became very clear he wasn't present. I mentioned to him that he seemed distracted, and I asked if something was bothering him. It turned out that his daughter had killed herself a week ago. I was his last appointment that day, and I was the only thing standing between him and his family. I rescheduled the meeting. I did several pure relationship building things with him over the course of time. No sale is worth someone's pain. You may think that this is an extreme example, but suffering happens to everyone, and at some point, someone's suffering is going to impact your business. How you react in that moment will reflect a lot about who you are and the personality of your business. The last thing I want to remind you about when you are designing your sales presentation is ask for the sale. If you don't ask, the answer is always no. There are lots of ways to ask for the sale. You can give a list of options and ask which of these options would you like to go with. You can say, based on our schedule, we can get you started next month. Would you like us to schedule it? Or you can say, would you prefer the lease or purchase option? Or you can say, we're confident we can achieve your objectives. Would you like to get started? However you say it, make sure that you actually ask for the sale. Clarity, connection, contribution, compassion, and ask. These elements of a sales presentation will help all your presentations to be more successful. Your exercise will help you review your existing presentations and determine how well you are using these elements. Feel free to contact me if you have any questions. I'm Jennifer Draper. Thank you for listening.